Hello, ESR and RWB crew. Welcome to the Saturday Super Series, although this recording is on a Thursday, so it's very, very late. This is the Tier 2 replay file that I'm commentating over. Generally, you can tell if it's a replay file if I have the black bar at the bottom hiding the timeline. There's the word I'm seeking. Which hopefully will avoid certain spoilers, such as, for example, a car retiring. Hopefully you cannot see my cursor today, because I do have it hidden, so hopefully that's the case. On pole position, we have Marco Badowski here in Tier 2 in the Mission Winnow Ferrari. Alongside him is fellow Polish driver, I gotta remember this. Badowski is not Polish, he is German. I gotta get that through my head. It's just such a German name. Or a Polish name. Alongside him is Jerry Waryzik. Going with that. Probably wrong. Let me know if it is. In third place, it is the Wolf Racing car of Damien Wilk, who is also Polish, actually. I should... hang on. I'm gonna switch camera views here. This is the... I've got the whole camera thing up here now, but the problem is... Is it going to change? It is really slow about changing. That is concerning. Actually, I probably have to turn off the auto director is what I need to do. There we go. This is not really working at all. Okay, but anyways, we still do have Damien Wilk in the is that Aston Martin? Yes, it is, in third place. Joining him on row 2 is Sean Kenny in the Liepert Motorsports Lamborghini. Then it is Dylan Mueller, Apex Valkyrie Aston Martin. Andrew Anderson in another Aston Martin. So Aston Martin showing well at their home race. Then it is the Lexus of RWB Crookie. Then it is James Gilbert in the... That's the 720 McLaren? Yes, it is. I should just look at the logo beside them. Baba Ganoush in the top Porsche in the field starts from 9th place. I had a BMW Xavier Eugenie. Then it is Piet van Dorenmolen, at a guess, in the McLaren 720. Followed by Jamie Reynolds in the Aston Martin. A lot of Aston Martins today. Jake Stang, Mercedes in 13th place, ahead of Brandon Warren in the Nissan. And then it's on to the GT4s with Mercedes of Menacing Skull taking pole position ahead of the Aston Martin of Martin Edmonds. This is his replay, so that's why he is shown with the white number position plate beside him. James Butler starts from 17th place, third in the GT4 field in the Ginetta, which is another British marque. John Barker in his Aston Martin. Then it is RWB Charger in the Porsche. Herbie 53 in the Chevrolet Camaro. And at the back of the pack, it is RWB Flack in the Mercedes. I do think that the GT4 field will be very, very interesting because these drivers are all, I think, very closely matched, and it will be very interesting to see who brings that home. I am betting on Badowski, who has been very, very quick when he's kept it on the track to probably take home the GT3 title, or race result in this case. So just kind of messing with the cameras right now. Okay. So it's sort of working. Not quite, though. It's a bit of a problem. Anyways, might have to use just some of the manual camera switches at various points, but we will do, or I will do what I can in this case. But supposedly I have all the cameras, but that is what it is. So I'm going to engage the auto broadcaster and see if it follows the action to my liking. And otherwise, let's get this thing kicked off. So we're a little bit here from the actual start of the race here, still in the final adjustment period for the cars. We'll ride with Marco Badowski at the start of this race. He will be starting on the front row, like I said, in the Mission Winnow Ferrari. Did the Tier 3 race here in similar fashion. One moment. I apparently had an alarm set. Cannot tell you why, but I will turn that off just to make sure we get no other sounds from my cell phone. Unless somebody desperately needs my attention because our entrance to our apartment is being kind of problematic. So there is a somewhat of a chance that I will get called into action to allow a roommate in. So here we are, getting ready. You can hear the engines roaring. And we are off to take the rolling start here. We will ride with Marco Badowski to start this race off. Badowski leading the way. Very Italian front row with a Ferrari versus a Lamborghini, but there is a lot of Aston Martins towards the front. No Bentleys to speak of, unfortunately. A couple of McLarens. And here we will be green. We are green. Here we go. Badowski leads down to the first corner here. Can't remember if this is Copse or Abbey. I believe it's Copse. If I get any turn names wrong, my apologies. Still trailed by the Lamborghini of Wazork or Warshik. And then it's the other Lamborghini of Sean Kenny up into third place, having overtaken Damien Wilk. This is the one oddity, is going to be the fact that I can't see my cursor very well. There we go. So Wilk is back into fourth position ahead of the Aston Martin of Mueller. That would be Dylan Mueller in the Apex Valkyrie, the green, the sort of British racing green Aston Martin there in fifth position, followed by Anderson. So it's a pack of them. Oh no, Anderson's lost out to RWB Crookie, who's up into sixth place. Then it is Xavier Eugeni, James Gilbert, and Baba Ganoush leading the way. It is still Menacing Skull leading the way in the GT4 category with Martin Edmonds and the Aston Martin on his tail, and then the Ginetta of James Butler. So Martin Edmonds is the big invading force, I think, in the GT4 category, because I believe everybody else is from the UK in that entire class, except for Canada's Martin Edmonds. And we'll focus on him a little bit here for the moment as he tries to track down Menacing Skull. GT4s will, of course, have to contend with some blue flag action. Unfortunately, because this is a replay, there is no pit stop indicator for me to work off of, so it'll be memory on that. As Martin's going for it around the outside. I don't remember this turn's name. My apologies. But nothing doing yet. Looking higher up in the GT3 category to see if there's any movement. Doesn't appear to be. Things are settling down a little bit. I would say the only real big gap forming is around Jamie Reynolds. And there is Martin down the inside into the lead for GT4. Menacing Skull's got the inside line, though, here. And this will probably carry on to Brooklands and Luffield. And it is going to be still Menacing Skull in front of Martin Edmonds. In the background there is the Ginetta of James Butler, and then it is John Barker in the Aston Martin. RWB Charger still in the mix there. RWB Flack and Herbie. Oh God. 3, 4 wide maybe. Oh my lord. It's the Ginetta of James Butler coming out in front. Butler to the lead. That's amazing. We got a yellow flag out. Somebody is off, but it is not James Butler. Who has got... Oh, it is John Barker, I think that is, rejoining in the Aston Martin. So John Barker came out in the worst of that 3 wide. Looks like Martin Edmonds is also falling back. So it is now James Butler, who was in third place initially, is now up into lead ahead of Menacing Skull. RWB Chargers up to third place. Martin Edmonds is back in fourth place. RWB Flack, Herbie, and Barker, who had that trip across the grass, is in last place and probably in the least position to be able to charge. Xavier Eugeni is apparently all over the back end of Andrew Anderson, battle for 7th place, and he is not alone because he's got James Gilbert and the Baba Ganoush on his tail as well. Sort of settling down a little bit further back there. I see gaps forming between Baba Ganoush and Stang, as well as Reynolds, Warren, and Van Doren Malin, pardon me. Doran. There we go. Had a similar problem with a guy in another race with a similar-ish name. So there is that. So that is Eugeni still holding on for the time being, and Baba Ganoush going for the move down the inside of Gilbert. And that will be 9th place for the Porsche driver. I'll have to give my my usual Porsche hatred a slight break here. Oh, Baba Ganoush goes very wide, but will retain the position as they head into Maggotts and Becketts. Checking in on the GT4 battle, so it looks like Butler and Skull are making a bit of a gap here, while RWB Charger holds up Edmonds and RWB Flack. Barker has claimed a spot over Herbie and is back up into 20th place, which is 6th place in the GT4 category. Again, I wish we had class positions on the replay. That would be highly helpful. I do believe you get it live, but not necessarily in the replay here. Only problem with using the broadcasting tool for the replay is that I'm finding that there is no car selection on the broadcasting tool. So if anyone knows how to get that, let me know, because then I could just use the broadcasting tool and not have to use the interface here at all. But alas, that is not the case right now. Checking with the leader, Marco Badowski. Not terribly far ahead. Still having under pressure from Jerry Warizik in 2nd place, and Sean Kenny there in the yellow Lamborghini just in behind. Wilk is leading a train. He can't pull away from Mueller or Crookie. And in the background, you can see Anderson, Eugenie, Baba Ganoush, Gilbert, Stang. They're all in the mix there as the Aston Martins go side by side, and I think Mueller's got it. Indeed, the Apex Valkyrie car is moving up into 4th position, and Crookie wants through as well. Lexus RCF on the charge. Nothing doing at this time. Wilk will hang on to 5th position, but he has lost 4th to Dylan Mueller. Further back, Xavier Eugenie is trying to find a way around Andrew Anderson there, but couldn't find anything yet. Crookie going side by side again with Wilk, so Wilk is in tons of problems here and loses out at Maggotts and Becketts to the Lexus of RWB Crookie. And that will put Crookie up into the top 5, my rival, although I'm missing this race, and I might be missing Paul Ricard too, so my battle with Crookie, I think, is coming to an end, unfortunately. Herbie is dropping back in the GT4 category, and Charger right now is menacing Skull and Butler's best friend because he is holding up a train. Wilk trying to come back at Crookie. Anderson looking at Crookie. Wilk, I think, is going to get it here as they head into the chicane. And indeed he will. So Wilk pulls back ahead of RWB Crookie. Andrew Anderson on his tail along with Xavier Eugenie. The Baba Ganoush is in the mix there as well. And just a little bit back are Gilbert and Stang. Oh, Menacing Skull has gotten back ahead of the Jetta of James Butler. Not sure when that happened, otherwise I would try a little bit of a rewind for you and see if we catch the moves. Sorry, Mr. Skull. John Barker has also taken over RWB Flack's position and is up to 19th overall and 5th in the GT4 running. This battle, however, has allowed RWB Charger to close back up. He's only about a second behind. And Martin Edmonds coming with you. You can see RWB Charger in the Porsche, and then Edmonds in the Aston Martin, the Aston Martins of John Barker, and the Mercedes of RWB Flack and Herbie. So really, the GT4s are all very much anyone's game. Still a good fight going on there. Picking up with Sean Canny here for a moment as he tries to hold off a charging Dylan Mueller. Wilk, Crookie, Anderson, Eugenie, Baba Ganoush, Gilbert. Nothing really doing right now. I'm looking for a good close battle outside of a GT4 battle to show you. And the closest one is the battle basically for 8th place between Xavier Eugenie and the Baba Ganoush, although the Baba Ganoush is off! Baba Ganoush is off. That's worth a quick look to see what happened to him. Was it contact or was it just a mistake? It was just a mistake, and Baba Ganoush, his charge might be a little bit done there, as I'm sure James Gilbert will find a way through. Indeed he will. So there goes Gilbert. There goes Stang in the Mercedes. And here comes Reynolds. Reynolds going side by side with the Baba Ganoush when Baba Ganoush comes back on. And Reynolds is going to get to Stowe Corner first. And easily maintain 11th place. Good work Well, not really good work by Jamie Reynolds. I mean, he just kept his nerve in, though. Didn't panic, didn't try to do anything too much, and the Baba Ganoush will have to try to make a comeback from 12th place. Oh, the battle for the lead is still heating up here as Wurzik all over the back of Badowski. Battle for the lead. Germany v Poland. Not really a classic motorsports rivalry, if we're being honest. So I mean, realistically, Polish-wise, you've got Robert Kubica, and then I guess Jules Simkowiak would be the next most famous Polish driver. And to be honest, I'm having a hard time remembering if he actually is Polish, or if he's just a Polish heritage living somewhere else. Because I honestly want to say he might actually be racing under a Dutch flag. But Badowski has got the spot for now. And a drive-through penalty for Menacing Skull. That is going to be a big deal for the leader. He's going to have to try to hold up James Butler now in that Ginetta. Actually, I don't even know if that's the case, because obviously with the drive-through, I don't even know if he can really be battling with Butler anymore. It doesn't really matter how much he slows him down. Butler looking for the overtake. Not coming at this time. We didn't get to see what the drive-through was for. I could go back and look, but I'm imagining it's a track cut penalty. Baba Ganoush has gotten back past Reynolds into 11th place, so the climb back for Baba Ganoush begins after his mistake at Maggotts and Becketts. Porsche Pride on the line for him. Only 2 Porsches in the field. 1 GT3, that's Baba Ganoush, and 1 GT4, that's RWB Charger, who is looking at a GT4 podium right now, and effectively is in 2nd place because we know Menacing Skull, the man pictured here, does have a drive-through penalty. What can he do? When will he serve it? He's got 3 laps to do so. In the meantime, oh, whoa, okay, we missed something. We missed something big here. Lead change. Badowski has lost the lead by a fair bit. I don't know if I could. Oh, okay, here we go. Here we go. We have found where Wurzik is behind him, so this should work out. Can I get on board? I don't want that on board. I don't want that on board. I want on board number 2. Or do I? What happened to Badowski? I think Badowski just went off at some point. What? Oh! Okay. I think we just had a lag spike. Is what that ended up being, frankly. So that feels like a little bit of a cheesy way to get the lead, but hey, it is what it is. So it is now Wurzik leading from Badowski. Sean Kinney under immense pressure from the hometown brand, the Aston Martin of Dylan Mueller, who is Swiss. So a Swiss driver in a British car trying to represent the British interests here, because there just really isn't anyone else to do it. I mean, we got RWB Crookie, Andrew Anderson, Eugenie, Gilbert, maybe? Might be British. I don't know. I do not know where everyone is from. My apologies. Okay, yeah, Gilbert is the double Brit option. Racing for a Lada racing team, though, in a McLaren 720. It's a bit weird. So we'll follow the Anderson or the Kenny versus Mueller battle. Man, I got really confused there. I think it was Anderson versus Wilk for some reason. So there it is. Menacing Skull still yet to serve his drive-through penalty. Butler still in 2nd place. Then RWB Charger, Edmonds, Barker, Flack, and Herbie in the GT4 class. So it is Mueller. Sean Kenny heading through Maggotts and Becketts, holding on. It looks like this is pacified for the time being, so let's drop back a little bit to just the battle behind them. Actually, it's Damien Wilk under pressure from RWB Crookie with Andrew Anderson and Xavier Eugenie also in the mix. This is the battle for 5th place. Wolf Racing's Damien Wilk holding on to the position at the moment. I was kind of expecting Baba Ganoush to make more headroad into Jay Stang, but he has yet to really do so, and is not particularly pressuring for that position yet. So it is Wilk at the head of this train with Crookie, Anderson, and Jenny for company. You can see in the background there is Gilbert, and then Stang, and then it will be Baba Ganoush, who presumably might get back up with this group at some point. We'll have to see how the pit stops fare for the Porsche driver. Of course, are yet to get into the pit window. Got probably a good 6 or so minutes before that window will open up. Javier Eugeni going down the inside. And he has got the position, at least for now, from Andrew Anderson. That is 7th place for the lone BMW in the field. The Schnitzer BMW trying to make a charge here. Gotten past Anderson. Next up in his list will be the BMW of RWB Crookie. In the background there, you can see Gilbert in the McLaren 720. Meantime, battle for the GT4 class lead continues, although it is still Menacing Skull sitting on a drive-through penalty. He has Butler on his tail in the Ginetta, and then it is RWB Charger, Martin Edmonds, and John Barker. Flack and Herbie are kind of falling out of this one. Still in for big points haul, though, with a limited GT4 field here today. Do have to take this moment to kind of get up on the soapbox just a little bit and say that, like, this is the fantastic driving you can get in a small, very well-matched grid of drivers. And sometimes size is not on its own pro. Its own advantage, shall we say. So I'd say this is a very good four-way battle for the lead here between Butler, Charger, Edmonds, and Barker, with Menacing Skull kind of as a guest star here until he makes that drive-through penalty. In the lovely Flashback Racing McLaren or Mercedes AMG GT4, there he is! He's into the pits now to serve the drive-through penalty. So let's get a look at some of the other battles here. Xavier Eugeni has claimed one spot, and I don't think he's had enough because he's about 3/10 back of RWB Crookie. And Crookie is right on the tail also of Wilk, so he might be the danger man still. Mueller is pestering Kenny for 3rd place as well in the GT3 field, and Baba Ganoush has caught right up to the back of, sorry, I need to refresh myself on your name, Jake Stang. So Baba Ganoush looking to get back into the top 10 after his venture off track at Maggotts and Becketts. So James Butler takes over the GT4 lead as the penalty is served by Menacing Skull, who will probably come back out at the back of the GT4 field, I would think. Although Herbie Herb was falling slightly back, so there is maybe a chance that could go his way. Maybe. I doubt it, though. Oh, Stang getting a little bit of grass himself through Maggotts and Becketts, but Baba Ganoush unable to attack for now. Let's have a look elsewhere. Dylan Mueller still over the back of Sean Kenny for the final spot on the GT3 podium. Kenny is hanging on for the time being. And in the meantime, Martin Edmonds still challenging RWB Charger with John Barker right on his back. The ESR admin crew on the charge in 3rd and 4th in the GT3 field, as that seems like Badowski. Oh, going past, that's what it is. He's going past Menacing Skull. So Menacing Skull with his drive-through is now into the blue flag section of the race. So wondering what Marco Badowski was doing there in the mission winnow Ferrari, which actually does look quite good. I didn't think I would love that livery in person, but I do. Looks nice. Next up will be Herbie Herb. So actually, Herbie Herb not too far ahead of Menacing Skull. So we'll have to tune in with Skull at some point when things go as Baba Ganoush has the run on Jake Stang, and that is 10th place for the Porsche driver against the Mercedes. Not a lot of Mercedes today. I think that's literally the only one in GT3 is Jake Stang. And then, of course, you have Menacing Skull and RWB Flack down in the GT4 category. The little brothers. Would have been nice to see a little bit more car variety, I must say. But it's... I mean, there is variety. Aston Martin's the only, like, super common car. But, you know, no Audis, which seems to be a trend in series I'm involved in. Which is disappointing, because I really like them. Not a lot of Porsche activity, as I had stated. Not a lot of Ferrari activity either, actually, which is a little bit surprising. And not a lot of Mercedes. So, I don't know. Just a little bit weird. As Baba Ganoush moves back into the top 10. So let's check in with James Butler. He is still leading the GT4 category, but you can see it is a highly contested lead. RWB Charger in the Porsche behind him, and then the two Aston Martins of Martin Edmonds and John Barker are in the battle right now. This is a good four-way fight, and you never know if Menacing Skull can still get himself back into this at some point. He was leading for a long time. He will need a really good pit stop and probably a little bit of these guys fighting to slow them down, because he, in theory, is going to have a fair amount of clean track to possibly do a lot of laps coming up. Let's see here. What has Skull been able to do pace-wise? 2:12.3 is his fastest lap. Unfortunately, everyone else is kind of within, like, a couple of tenths of that. In fact, John Barker faster, actually, at a 2:12 flat, I believe, has the fastest GT4 lap of the race. So Badowski is right back up on the battle for the lead after that. Oh, no, he's taken the lead. He has taken the lead. And we can probably find this because he was still shown in second place. Did he get him? Okay, there's a blue flag there with RWB Flack. Here we go. Found it. So, oh! It was RWB Flack in the Mercedes that played the role. The blue flag came into roost for Badowski. An opportunistic overtake. Do we not have a good onboard camera for this car? That is surprising. You can't get just the standard onboard on the Lambo. That's a bit weird. Let's see. Let me move to a different car just to see if that's the case. Oh no, here it is. There we go. It's just in a separate area. Okay. So there is Marco Badowski. Back in the lead. We're on board with him through Maggotts and Becketts. Always a tough-ass turn. And they are coming up to the GT4 lapping position. The battle for the lead of the GT4 class. Let's get the Helicam out. Love the Helicam. And it is Badowski in the lead. There is that battle for the lead. So we got the battle for the lead of GT3 and the battle of the lead for GT4. Like, this is a commentator's wet dream that they get to cover both battles at least for a bit. And Badowski getting through there on John Barker. Warzik. Barker was very considerate, I think, there for Warzik. That was maybe a little bit greedy. But he did, of course, lose the lead under because of blue flag intervention. So he's got to be keen to stay on Badowski through this traffic. I don't feel terribly bad for him, though, because it did honestly appear that Badowski lost the lead because of a lag, like a lag moment. So it does feel kind of fitting in a weird way. No offense to Jerry. Again, that's how a guy I know says that name. There is no faith in any Polish pronunciations I give you. So Badowski leading the way, and there is James Butler falling down a lap. So the GT4s have all been lapped so far. Menacing Skull up on the tail of Herbie. It looks like he already has made that overtake happen. Let's go back and have a look. And it appears like it happened quite a while ago, and it's unfortunate. Jake Stang working his way through there in the background in the 12th place Mercedes. Something has happened to Stang because he's behind Reynolds now. And battling with Warren, the Nissan driver. So that's a spot for Jamie Reynolds, who's also caught up to the back of Gilbert. Somebody's off! That is RWB Crookie in the Lexus. What has happened to RWB Crookie? Oh, this looks like it was a huge incident. Oh, contact with Xavier Eugeni! And it turns him around. And oh, a very poor rejoin there into the path of Andrew Anderson as well. Not sure if, I feel bad for Crookie on the spin, but the rejoin kind of almost eliminates that goodwill. Because he rejoined almost right into the path of Andrew Anderson's Aston Martin. And he'll rejoin quite a ways back now, I imagine. Show a little love for the Chevy Camaro of Herbie 53, as he is lapped there by the Nissan of B. Warren, whose first name eludes me right this second. It is Brandon Warren. That's easy enough. As a pro football player with that name, I should be able to commit that to memory quite easily. Revo Satellite Team, as he also puts the lap on the car of RWB Flack. Or no, pardon me, that was Menacing Skull. Pardon me, RWB Flack is the other GT4 Mercedes. In the meantime, Damian Wilk at some point has overtaken Sean Kenny. Oh, it's because Sean Kenny's in the pit lane. Okay. Are we in the window? We should be in the window. See the other annoying thing. No window counter. So Kenny is the first of our pit stoppers. Not sure about this move because I think this is going to drop him back into some pretty fierce traffic. Let's have a look. As he comes out. Also in the pits, RWB Crookie and Andrew Anderson. Now, I suspect those are both non-tactical pit stops. It is their mandatories, but I believe that is handling the damage from their collision earlier on. So it is Badowski still leading the way, but under immense pressure from the Dyko Lazarus Racing Lamborghini of Jerry Werzik. Wilk in third place. Temporarily, in theory. Xavier Eugeni up into fourth. He's overtaken Dylan Mueller. That's pretty impressive. They make their way through. That is Martin Edmonds and the Aston Martin being lapped. The current leader, by the looks of it. No. Still Butler. Yeah, there is Butler and Charger are ahead of him. I was just, for some reason, thinking that 16th place was the leader. No. 14th place is now the leader. Although that has been messed up because Crookie is a GT3 that is now behind GT4s. That's going to be a bit weird. As they make their way through that traffic. James Butler in the lovely lime green Ginetta. Still in the lead. So Mueller up into 5th place, ahead, or behind Xavier Eugeni, but ahead of Baba Ganoush. Then it is James Gilbert, Jamie Reynolds having a good battle over 7th place. Jake Stang has fallen behind both of them, or at least Reynolds. I think he was always behind Gilbert. Then it's Brandon Warren, Piet Van Dorenmolen, Sean Kenny, leader of the pit stoppers. Andrew Anderson's also been into the pits, as has RWB Crookie, who is back and running, but I have to say that his race looks a bit ugly right now in the Lexus. Oh, I think Wilk is in the pits. Also John Barker, I do believe, in the pit lane. So more pit stops coming into play. We're going to stick with Wilk here for a moment because I'm very intrigued where he comes out in relation to Sean Kenny. I don't see Kenny, which is a bit of a problem. Has this really backfired on Sean Kenny? I think it has. Sean Kinney has had a massive backfire here, I think, as far as the pit stop is concerned. His undercut has not worked. And Damien Wilk has overtaken him and has a pretty reasonable lead over the Lamborghini. So those are the top 2 men who have handled their pit stopping business. I will do my best to track the pit stops because we do not have that on the leaderboard here, unfortunately. Check back in on the leaders here for a little bit. Get back into the TV cam. So battle for the lead, mission winnow. Marco Badowski leading the way. And that very Sebastian Vettel car. Oh god, Sebastian Vettel. Oh god. Talking about a terrible reference in 2020. With Jerry Warzik in second place. Eugenie third, Mueller fourth. This is theoretically Wilk who's actually in third, but I don't know how these pit stops are going to shake out. They seem to be in empty air, both Kenny and Wilk, so I think it's going to be okay. But I do kind of question in a multi-class race going to the pit lane that early on. I just think that that's not a great plan. Keeping my eye out for any other pit stops happening. No other super close battles right now. Butler has gotten a little bit of a lead over RWB Charger. There's still some stuff going on. Martin Edmonds, I believe, has been to the pit lane. Either that or he just fell behind Flack somehow, despite being way ahead of Flack. So I'm going to be charitable and say that that should be a pit stop. Also makes sense. Martin is usually an early pit stopper. Those who are unaware, Martin's tire management skills are a solid F. And, oh, stop-go penalty for Jamie Reynolds. He's coming out of the pit lane, so I imagine that was a speeding in the pit lane penalty for Jamie Reynolds, which is a shame. He was looking for pretty reasonable results here today, and that is going to be a problem for him. That stop-go is going to limit him heavily. We'll stick with Martin Edmonds for the next little bit. They've got a McLaren 720 coming up to lap them. I imagine that is James Gilbert. No, it is not. It is Piet Van Dorenmolen. Pardon me, I forgot which McLaren was which. Just need to remember that Gilbert is running a custom livery and Van Dorenmolen is not. Therefore, he has a much cooler livery with sponsors. A little bit of damage there to the front end of Martin Edmonds too, so that does call into question that he may not be on a pit stop, although the car seems to be running fairly reasonably, so I don't know. Has he made a pit stop? There's a chance that he has not. We'll find out, I guess, eventually. But for now, I am left with nothing but speculation. Keeping an eye out for any other possible pit stoppers. Not seeing anybody tremendously out of position based on where I last remember them being. So presumably we have not had one super reasonably... Oh! I say this and Warzik actually was into the pits and is back out into... telling me 7th place ahead of Baba Ganoush. That seems a bit high. Didn't think he had quite cleared the likes of Baba Ganoush, although it is possible. There's Sean Kinney in the background. So this makes me think that he's actually further back. So Van Dorenmolen is through. Baba Ganoush is apparently behind. Did Baba Ganoush pit, maybe? Could be. Baba Ganoush might have pitted, or he might have had an off. Not sure which. Seems more likely, but he's not in 9th place, because that's Damien Wilk ahead of him. Martin Edmonds versus Flack still on as, oh, well, never mind. That fight kind of is terminated a little bit as the Lamborghini of Warzik gets through. And there goes Sean Kinney's Lamborghini as well. So Wilk has fallen back to 11th place. I wonder if he had an off at some point because he was ahead of Sean Kinney and looking like he was a promising podium finisher. So it could be that he has slipped off the track. Baba Ganoush is pitted, and that is why they are together. Or maybe they both had an off. I don't know. That's some heavy damage on Wilk's car. I suggest that that's not just an off, but that's some contact. Maybe with Sean Kenny. I don't know. So the top pit-stopping car that I'm familiar with is Sean Kenny. Oh, no, it's Warzik in 8th place. But I'm willing to guarantee that that is the top pit-stopping car. Meantime, Butler is into the pit lane, so the GT4 leader is in, as well as that is Piet van Doornmalen, also making his pit stop in the McLaren 720 in the background. There he goes. So Van Doornmalen has taken his pit stop and will probably join towards the rear of the GT4 field. Be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to Baba Ganoush. And, oh! Well, that doesn't look right at all. Martin Edmonds in the pit lane. Okay. It's fixed itself now. He briefly had non-rendered tires. RWB Flack also in the pit lane. So a bit of a race off the pit row here between Edmonds and Flack. This is bad for Edmonds because that means that he fell back for a reason other than pitting. The speculation is that he pitted. But it appears that that is not the case. He must have had an off. And now he's in a legitimate battle with RWB Flack, whereas I thought he was just kind of waiting for Flack to pit. We'll see if Flack can beat him off the pit lane. The Mercedes is going to lose out to the Aston Martin at the pit stop here. And it is going to be Martin Edmonds who gets the better of RWB Flack, and now he needs to get back up in the battle as another speeding in the pit lane penalty. This one is for Piet van Doornmalen. The McLaren 720 is going to have to serve a pit lane stop-and-go penalty. Might put him back into a fight with Jamie Reynolds, who had a similar fate. So right now, granted there's still a lot of pit stops to circle out here. Badowski leading from Eugenie, Mueller, Warren, and Stang. They have all not pitted. Warzik has pitted. Kenny has pitted. Anderson has pitted. Wilk has pitted. We're honestly not sure about Baba Ganoush. Gilbert, I believe, is pitted. Van Doornmalen we saw pit. Reynolds we saw pit. Charger has not pitted. Skull was in for a drive-through but is not pitted. RWB Crookie has pitted. Butler is pitted. Barker is pitted. Edmonds is pitted. Flack is pitted. Do not know about Herbie, but based on his position, I am going to say that he has, or he's had a significant trauma, which is not really showing on the car. So I think he's probably pitted. So in GT4, I think we're just waiting on Charger and Skull to pit. And in GT3, we're waiting on at least 5 cars. Badowski, Eugenie, Mueller, Stang, and Warren to pit. With a mystery surrounding Baba Ganoush. Yeah, it's Herbie Herb. Goes off the track and stops it. No! No, Herbie! Don't quit, Herbie! No! Herbie! Why would you do this? Alright, to the leader, Margot Badowski. In the mission, Winnow Ferrari. Leading the way from Xavier Eugenie and Dylan Mueller. Although all 3 are yet to pit, the man he's really competing with is Zorik. As we do have a pit stopper, it looks like. Somebody dropped in the order. I think it is Brandon Warren. So maybe had an off or had a pit stop. I'm not sure. So Brandon Warren may have eliminated himself from the pit stopping race or may not have. Still waiting. Oh, here we are. Drive-through penalty, or the stop-go penalty being served by Piet van Doornmalen in the McLaren 720. Well, Zorik is running 202s right now, which is very off his best. Badowski also in the 202, so that is not really great. This is the time where Zorik needs to be putting lap times that are better than Badowski's up, and he's not really doing it for the moment. Might have had to clear some traffic. He is also not very far away from Sean Kenny, only about 4.5 seconds. So that does not bode super great for him as far as the battle for the lead goes. As there is Van Doran Mullen rejoining after his penalty and receiving the blue flag immediately for the man who is currently trying to make it a run for the lead, Jerry Wazork. Warzek, pardon me. Lets it through very nicely there. Although it seems like Van Doren Mullen is moving kind of slow. So let's see here. Badowski still in the 202s. Zork is apparently up into second place. That means that we've had pit stops from Jake Stang. There he is. Dylan Mueller has jumped Xavier Eugeni in the pit stop, but not by much. So let's pay attention to these guys. They should both be on rather cold tires right now. BMW versus Aston Martin, and the big BMW gets the advantage right now over him. Andrew Anderson up ahead of them. He's up into fourth place, so Anderson's early pit stop seems to have worked out fairly well. There goes me crapping on the early pit stoppers, and it's kind of worked out for both Anderson and Kenny. Still awaiting Badowski's pit stop. He, I think, is the last one. As well as Menacing Skull. Still needs to pit in the GT4 category. So it's two leaders right now that still need to come in and make their pit stop. So that means the effective leader... Well, Badowski is, I would still say, the effective leader. And then it should be James Butler in the GT4 category, despite his 32-second gap to... Oh, he's actually taking the lead now. So Menacing Skull may have just come out of the pits, judging by that 2:17 lap time, and is slipped to the back of the GT4 field. Once again, that penalty, of course, looming large for him. Where is Marco Badowski? That is not him. He is still not pitted by the looks of it, although not a very good lap time last time. 2:07! Get in the pit, sir. Your tires are done. Now under pressure from Andrew Anderson. Wait, this can't be. This must have been the pit stop. This must have been the pit stop for Badowski, but it's not worked out. Warwick is now in the lead. Sean Kenny's also gotten him, and now he's under immense pressure from Andrew Anderson. I think he had a spin in Maggotts and Becketts after coming out of the pits on cold tires. And that means that Andrew Anderson and Xavier Eugeni both have the advantage here, as well as Dylan Mueller if they can get past him right now. This is when this Ferrari is going to be at its most vulnerable, possibly right out of the pits. Can they make it count? Looks like Anderson definitely wants to, but Badowski every second is getting those tires more and more up to temp. If he pitted, if he didn't pit and he lost this much ground, this is terrible for Marco Badowski. But I think he is fine. So it is. It appears like we've got a pit stop answer for everything. Ralixic is in the lead, followed by Sean Kenny, followed by Marco Badowski, who was the leader before the pit stops, followed by Andrew Anderson, Xavier Eugeni, Dylan Mueller, Damian Wilk, Baba Ganoush, James Gilbert, Brandon Warren, Jake Stang, Jamie Reynolds, Piet Van Doren Mullen, and RWB Crookie, your GT3 standings. In GT4, it is James Butler, John Barker, RWB Charger, who has lost a spot to Barker in the pit stops, Martin Edmonds, who had something happen to him, we still don't know what, RWB Flack in 19th place, and then it is Menacing Skull at the back, that penalty looming large for him, because I think, honestly, he was in with a shake of a stick at a victory here today, and just that penalty for presumably cutting the track looms very large for him. Let's have a look at the GT4 best laps for the moment here. 2:12 flat for Butler, 2:12 flat for Barker, 2:12.4 for Charger, Edmonds on a 2:12.2, Flack 2:13.4, and Menacing Skull 2:12.3. So yeah, Skull was definitely in that pace bracket, but he needs something to come out his way now if he wants to make this, wants to turn this into anything but. Well, he'll probably get RWB Flack before the end of the race. He's only 2.5 seconds behind him, but I think otherwise in some trouble. Badowski still has not separated from this train, That is the battle for third place. Andrew Anderson still on his tail with Xavier Eugeni and Dylan Mueller all over the back of Marco Badowski, who at one point looked like he was quite in charge of this race. His last lap was a 3:12, so that was definitely, I think, a pit stop compared to Anderson 2:02. Xavier is pulling in everything. He's down at his best laps of the race, basically, and is the fastest man of this group right now. Biggest loser in the pit stops might have to be Marco Badowski. He lost 2 spots, and very importantly, that's put him in third place and in the war here. Other people that come to mind, not really much in GT4, to be honest. The big winner would have to be Jerry Warzik, who is now in the lead. Andrew Anderson, it feels like, was a big winner. I can't remember where he was, but it feels like 4th place is quite an improvement for him. So, feels like he was probably the big winner here. And for Brand, I mean, Lamborghini now running 1-2. This is a hell of a commercial for them. Let's take a moment to ride on board with Andrew Anderson inside the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Still trailing Marco Badowski. Looks like some lap traffic up ahead. I think that is Menacing Skull in the GT4 Mercedes. Bad day for Mercedes in general. All 3 of their cars having a pretty struggling day. Skull lets Badowski through, although very close. And Anderson is going to be keen to go with, as will Eugeni in behind. There is the BMW in the rearview mirror. Going for it. Swapping to go on board with Xavier Eugeni. I think he's got it. I think he's got it. Helicam up. Eugeni has gotten past Andrew Anderson. That's 4th place for the BMW, which is on a charge right now. Anderson falls back and will now have to battle with Dylan Mueller for top Aston Martin privileges as they come up to RWB Flack in the GT4 car, who gets nice and wide and out of the way. Now the pressure is on. Talk about wanting it right now. That is definitely the case for Xavier Eugeni, who is all over the back end of Marco Badowski, although Badowski is getting away a little bit through Maggotts and Becketts. Moving the background, Dylan Mueller side by side with Andrew Anderson. Anderson, I think, is lost out of this on the way to Stowe. So in a brief shade of time, we're saying that the pit stops worked out well for Anderson. He's dropped back to 6th place from 4th. We'll see if he can strike back. Badowski under pressure from Eugeni. Then it's Mueller, Anderson, Wilk, Babaganoush, Gilbert, and Warren rounding off the top 10. Jake Stang, Jamie Reynolds, Piet van Dorenmolen, and RWB Crookie rounding off the GT3 field. GT4, Butler, Barker, Charger, Edmonds, Flack, and Skull. That's Martin Edmonds getting out of the way of the battle for 3rd place. I think Eugeni might have a move here. Oh, a little contact with Babaganoush, or with Badowski, sorry. I don't know why I have Babaganoush in my head. Dylan Mueller is now all over the back of them, so it's not really worked out well for Eugeni with that contact. Anderson in that mix as well. Blue flag out. Not sure who that is for. I see a car up ahead of them. So it must be a GT4 or one of the far back GT3s. Should see some GT3 on GT3 lapping. We already have, actually, a little bit. Sean Kenny up ahead. Okay, so it's for RWB Charger. Sean Kenny trying to get past him. Second place meets second place. Or, pardon me, Charger's back into third. Xavier Eugeni trying to get the pressure on to Marco Badowski, but now it's really more about the pressure that he's facing from Dylan Mueller in the Apex Valkyrie Aston Martin V12. All over the back end, looking to get through. Badowski looking to retain third place. Fantastic battle here for the podium. I thought it was going to be GT4 that where the big battle was going to be, but it's turned out to be GT3. GT4 is actually fairly spread out right now. Butler, Barker, Charger, Edmonds, Flack, and Skull kind of in their spots. Skull maybe with the biggest chance to possibly improve. Martin Edmonds has got a little bit of a train behind him as Wilk and Baba Ganoush finally get through. And then it'll be Gilbert's turn. Xavier Eugeni, fourth place on the tail of Marco Babaganoush. Or Marco Badowski. Why do I keep doing that? Badowski, Babaganoush. There's not enough similarities there to excuse this. My apologies. So it is Marco Badowski, who was looking for a sip of the champagne from the top step of the podium pretty much all day. He was my prediction. Now, he's battling just to be on the podium. And he's got Xavier Eugeni, he's got Dylan Mueller, and he's got Andrew Anderson, who would all like that spot. Blue flag out there for, that is John Barker. Second place in the GT4 category. Getting lapped by this battle for third. Bit ugly at Maggotts and Becketts, so he is going to split this in half for the time being. The two Aston Martins behind him. So much for brand loyalty. He actually went off track to let them through, so I guess maybe there is a little brand loyalty to be had. Not really checking out the race leader because, to be honest, there's not much going on there. The gap first to second is now over 12 seconds, almost 13. Sean Kenny is putting basically no pressure on. In fact, there is the GT4 leader, speaking of the other leader, James Butler in the mix here now. So you can visibly see the difference between him and John Barker. And, oh, it looked like they were going to split there for a second, but Xavier Eugeni thinks better of it. Lines up to the inside, but nothing really there. It is Badowski versus Eugeni for that final podium spot, and the two Aston Martins in the background are hungry. Had a bit of a yawn there, my apologies. Don't know why. Had a good night's sleep, and it's not... It's like 8:30 right now, so there's no way... There's really no reason I should be tired. Unless it's just that exhausting doing commentary for y'all, which it is not. Honestly, I'm looking for another battle to really take a look at, but this really is the one. It's the closest battle on track. It's the most meaningful on track. There's a little bit of a thing going on between James Gilbert and Baba Ganoush for 8th place, but that's kind of about it. Everyone else is quite, kind of quite where they're going to be. Anderson all over the back of Mueller, but we can kind of see that in the background of this fight. Guess we'll swap over to that for a little bit. So Andrew Anderson battling for top Aston Martin honors in the GT3 category with Dylan Mueller. Kind of been overshadowed in the Aston Martin hierarchy by the early run of Damien Wilk and then Mueller's run. And, well, he may yet be the best man to take it home. Currently in 6th place. And now Sean Kenny, who pitted earlier and is definitively losing ground. So I gotta check lap times here, man. Here, this is the chemical need here. 2024, 2019. So it's about a half second that Sean Kenny is losing per lap, it seems. So Marco Badowski is now up on the back of him. Not quite yet, but you can see it's pretty close. So this is now a 5-way fight for 2nd place, after being a 4-way fight for 3rd place for such a while. I wonder if the early pit stop that Sean Kenny went for is starting to bite him in the ass here. So we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 laps or so left, and I'm wondering if those tires have just given up the chase. So let's see here. Sean Kenny that time around, 2:02. Not an egregiously bad lap or anything, but it was over a second slower than both Badowski, Eugenie, Mueller, and just under a second slower than the man at the back of the pack, Andrew Anderson. So Kenny, I feel like, is in trouble. He's at the head of this train, but it seems like either his tires are gone or his focus is gone, or whatever the case may be. He's had 2 laps in a row now where he's been much slower than everyone behind him. And he's having to defend hard into Stowe against Badowski. So suddenly Badowski is a live dog. Badowski theoretically has the best tires of this bunch. He pitted very late. Eugenie also pitted quite late, as did Mueller. And side by side, the inside line is still Kenny's. But I think Baba Ganoush has got it. Marco Baba Ganoush up into 2nd place in the Ferrari, beating Sean Kenny's Lamborghini. And now the BMW M6 of Xavier Eugenie on the attack, and he gets it done. That is the podium for the BMW M6. And now Mueller is trying to come through. Sean Kenny is an absolute sitting duck right now. And he is losing every position imaginable right now. Andrew Anderson may actually be able to go around the outside of him here and take 5th place. Kenny is back to 5th, having been 2nd not even a lap ago. And it's not a big spin or anything dramatic. He just can't seem to keep up anymore. I think the tires are gone. I think that's the only thing I can think of. The question is, how far will he fall back? Because Gilbert, Wilk, and Baba Ganoush are not terribly far behind this. And Gilbert, by the way, has overtaken Wilk. So Wilk is having a bit of a terrible second portion of the race as well. And he pitted relatively early. So I think that the early pit stoppers are paying the price here. That Silverstone has, in fact, eaten their tires. And Andrew Anderson's got... Oh, whoa. So there might be actually damage to Kenny. Does anyone else see that? Does anyone else see the wheel? The left front wheel. Looks like it's almost not... Looks like the tire is almost not fully on the rim. That's interesting. So maybe not tires, maybe damage. We'll check in with the race leader, Jerry Warzik. Still running 2-minute laps, so he's pretty safe from the group behind. Badowski's still under pressure from Xavier Eugenie. I said he had the tire advantage, so it is a little bit surprising he's not been able to break away. I thought he was in great deal of danger when he came out on cold tires out of them. Theoretically had that spin in Maggotts and Becketts. We didn't see it, so I don't know, but it's kind of the only thing that makes sense for the position we're in. And he can comment on below if he did spin. But it's a bit weird that the M6 is still putting so much pressure on Badowski still. The Aston Martins have slightly drifted back into their own little fight. And Sean Kenny, I think at this point, is just praying that the race ends so that he can take home 6th place. Let's go on board with Sean for a hot second here. See if we can detect anything strange or if it's just a tire problem. Because his lap times, I'm kind of interested to see what he does the next lap time around. But they've been quite poor so far in this latter stage of the race. And it's gone from like a surefire second place to losing substantial ground to James Gilbert behind him. Doesn't seem to be anything especially wrong with the car. We'll get a lap time next time around. No, about 2-minute flat is about the pace of the leaders right now, which Kenny has been a part of, qualified row 2. So you would think he could do that right now. Checking to see if anything else is happening. It's still Badowski, Eugenie, Mueller, Anderson in that order. It's now Wilk has gotten ahead. Oh man, something has happened to James Gilbert actually. He's dropped back behind Wilk and Baba Ganoush. Like a long way back. So maybe a spin for James Gilbert. Alright, so here's the finish line. Lap time. 2:04. Flat. Oh boy. That is not good. Andrew Anderson, for comparison purposes, 2:02. Dylan Mueller, 2:016. Eugenie, 2:013. Badowski, 2:01. So yeah, 2 to 3 seconds off the pace right now for Sean Kenny. He is looking problematic right now. 2-minute flat for the race leader. What did Wilk do? Wilk was 2:02. Baba Ganoush, 2:029. 2:14 for James Gilbert, but I theorize he had something wrong. Even Brandon Warren did a 2:034. By the looks of it. Unless we get an update here. Yep, 2:034. Nope, 2:047. Never mind. So he's safe from like Warren, but Wilk and Baba Ganoush are running much quicker paces right now than Sean Kenny. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So we'll go back to the Helicam. Battle for second place, Marco Badowski. Sorry, GT4, but I was expecting to follow GT4 for a ton today. I really, really was. But now there's like an 8-second gap between Butler and Barker, a 9-second gap back to Charger. Edmonds and Charger might be a thing, but even that's 3 seconds? Come on, GT4, get on your game. Marco Badowski with Xavier Eugenie on his tail. They have seemingly dumped the Aston Martins at a vat of acid and said bye-bye. Andrew Anderson particularly appears not to be able to keep up anymore. Mueller is still putting up competitive lap times. Oh, Xavier Eugenie off the track. And I think that may be the end of his quest for second place, although third place is still to be fought for. So let's not get too crazy here. 2:016 last time around for Mueller, 2:027 for Eugenie, who made that mistake, and 2:014 for Badowski. So Xavier Eugenie at the heart of this matter right now. 2 Aston Martins on his tail. Sean Kenny flailing in the background. Actually, you know what? We're gonna get somewhere else here. Wilk is right up on the back of Baba Ganoush. Let's follow that for a bit. Or pardon me, he may get through here. Wilk versus Baba Ganoush. Helicam inactive. Wilk has got it. 7th place for the Aston Martin Wolf Racing car. If he can get past Sean Kenny, that will be 3 Aston Martins in the top 6. As well as the 2nd place in GT4, courtesy of John Barker. Martin Edmonds is looking to get that podium as well in GT4. Baba Ganoush still within striking distance, though. Sean Kenny's stricken car is up ahead of these two, so a lot to play for. Not much going on for Gilbert or Warren, Stang, Reynolds, Van Doren, Mullen, or Crookie. It's really just the battle for 3rd right now and the battle for 7th in the GT3 category. Baba Ganoush up the inside. But that's going to be an inside line for Wilk, and he will retain the position. Baba Ganoush looking to get through again. Oh boy, that's a little aggressive. Side by side. Baba Ganoush might have it, but the inside line is Wilk's. Or pardon me, it is not. Inside line is Baba Ganoush. I was mixed up on where we were on the track. We're at Brooklyn's left field. Still side. Oh, contact between Baba Ganoush and Wilk. Nothing serious. Wilk holding the spot as they head to the start-finish line. So 7th place for him at the line. And that was the end of the race. Sorry. I was so caught up in things. That was the last lap. We didn't get a last lap warning from the from anything. So it is going to be... Can I get my mouse back here? Your winner in the Lamborghini Huracan is Jerry Warzik, followed by Marco Badowski, Xavier Eugeni on the podium, Dylan Mueller. Sean Kenny did not finish here. I'm pretty sure Andrew Anderson was 5th. Sean Kenny 6th. Damian Wilk, Baba Ganoush, James Gilbert, Brandon Warren, Jake Stang, Jamie Reynolds, Piet Van Doren Mullen, RWB Crookie in the GT3 category. James Butler in his Ginetta takes it home. A victory for Ginetta at Silverstone. Home track. I'm not sure if they're anywhere near this track, but, you know, they are a British company. John Barker joins them on the podium. And then it'll be the Porsche RWB Charger, the Foreign Invader, in 3rd place, ahead of Martin Edmonds, Menacing Skull, and RWB Flack. Bad day for Mercedes in that regard. Quite a bad day, actually. So anyways, let us get to talking real quick about the standings, and then I can let you guys go do something else with your day. I will also say that I think the Division 2 and Division 3 races were both fantastic. And as far as the whole, do we want to merge the 2 divisions go, I think you could argue, I mean, there's definitely an argument for yes, it would be a bigger grid, hopefully. But I think honestly, they're both really fantastic races right now. And I think it would be a shame to cut down on the number of races that we're running in this Super Series. Anyways, GT3 standings. Andrew Anderson in the lead. That's a little confusing and something I didn't expect. Javier Eugeni, 2nd place. Damian Wilkes in 3rd. Sean Kenny is in 4th. The Baba Ganoush, 5th. Mephisto, which I think was Marin Waranowski, or I can't remember the name. He was pretty dominant and, of course, is now in Division 1. With the win today, Waranowski moves into 7th place ahead of RWB Crookie, Jose Antonio Fernandez, who was absent, and Jamie Reynolds. Race 2nd place finisher Marco Badowski is quite a ways down in the order, which is surprising. He is in 13th right now. In the GT4 category, it is James Butler leading the way by 10 points over Menacing Skull. John Barker in 3rd, followed by Martin Edmonds. RWB Flack. Congratulations to RWB Charger, whose podium gets him up into 6th place. So that is it heading into the next round at Paul Ricard. Good luck, everybody. Hope you enjoy a track that admittedly I'm not super fond of, but it can have its moments and certainly can produce some good racing if you let it. So that is all here from Silverstone for the RWB ESR Super Series. Hope you enjoyed my commentary here without the advantage of a live recording.